Did you see me out there? I was magnificent.
Okay, to transform Magic Square's blast off from robot mode to his alt mode, come to his arm and bend that up 90 degrees and then rotate the arm up 90 degrees. So now we have room to bring down this panel, untab that, and then bring down this gray panel piece, untab that, and then open up the hands. And then here you want to make sure you rotate that thumb so it's on top, and then close those fingers back up like so. And then on that hinge, rotate the fist in, and then we can close this panel piece back up. It's going to tab in. And then here you want to bring out the tip of the space shuttle. It tabs in here on the front, and then on that gray double hinge, bring it out to the front till it's nice and straight. And then here there's two tabs you want to bring into the slot. So close that up. After that, then you can rotate the arm up 90 degrees, and then you'll see the back of the shoulder has this gray panel piece that you want to flip open. And now you see the two screws on the bicep. You want to rotate that around 180 to the back. And then here at the elbow joint, you want to rotate this around 180. And then you could see we're going to rotate this down. There's a tab, goes into the slot. But you need to have the clearance for this rotation. So that's where you bend down this bicep. And then you could see now we can rotate this till that tab gets lined up with that slot. And then we're going to rotate the bicep back up to get this to tab in all the way, nice and flush, like so. And then we do the same on this side. So bend the forearm 90 degrees, bend the arm up 90 degrees. And then we have the room to bring down this panel piece, and then bring down this gray panel piece, and then open up the fingers, and then rotate this thumb so it's on the top, and then fold in these fingers. And then on that hinge, now we can rotate this up, and then we'll close this panel piece back up, tab in. And then here we want to flip this open. This side does not have the tab on the double hinge. Get it nice and straight. There's two tabs, goes into the two slots. Lift that up, tab it in, and then you can rotate the arm up. And then you could see the back of the shoulder has this gray piece you want to flip open. And then the two screws on the bicep, you want to rotate around 180 so they're facing the back. And then on the side, you'll see there's the elbow joint. You need to rotate that around 180. And then you could see we're going to rotate this down, but you need the clearance here. That's where you tilt this bicep down, and then we can complete this rotation till that tab lines up on top of that slot. Then we're going to rotate this bicep up to get that tab to go in all nice and flush like so. After that, now we come to his chest, and then we want to pull down to untab it, and it tabs in, two tabs on the top, the gray, and then there's tabs on the sides of his chest. Bring that down, and then here there's two panel pieces you want to flip out, 1, 2, like so. After that, now we can bring down the two sides of the arm, and here you can see there's a tab goes in, but also there's the mushroom tabs on both sides that go into the slot here. So bring those down, and then come to the side, and then here this fin piece you want to untab it from the top and then rotate it 90 degrees. And then the back piece, you want to bring it down to have room to bring out this purple piece. And here you're bringing it out 90 degrees, and then you need to rotate it 90 degrees so that now we can bring this up all the way 90 degrees. And then we can bring down this whole piece here, and then we're going to rotate this. And then here lift up the front part of the window, and then bring out the two side pieces here. And then after that, now we could slide this down. And then now back to this fin piece. Now we're going to rotate it here on this hinge. Rotate it so it's facing 180 to the front. And then we're going to rotate this fin back up. And then you could see we're going to bring this up. And here you could leave the fin this way, but you need to make sure you have clearance for the head. So you can also rotate this fin down like so, so you have more clearance here. Either way, it works both the same. After that, now we can bring these two, first fold in this head, and then we're going to bring up these two pieces. And like I was telling you, there's the mushroom tabs that you need to get in. So come to this side, and then you want to make sure you have the room here so that mushroom tab goes lines up with that slot. And then here we want to do the same thing, but this side has a tab on the gray tab on the top. So here you're trying to get two tabs to line up in like so. And then we need to tilt this back, and then so that we have room to bring these two arms up. And it's basically on a double hinge, so you need to push it up all the way so it's nice and flush on both sides. And then we need to get this top piece tabbed in. So bring these two pieces together, tab it in, give it a good squeeze. After that, now we could bring down this piece. You could see the tabs are gonna go into the slot, and then there's tabs here, it goes into this slot. So make sure you get those all lined up, tabbed in, give it a good squeeze, and then come back here to the front. And then you could lift this up. Same thing, there's the tabs that are supposed to go in, and you just get those lined up, tab it in, and now we got the upper part done. And then we come down here to the legs, spread his legs out at an A stance, and here, this is an important step. The thighs here need to be pushed back on that double hinge. So you could see you bringing the thighs back. So you could see we need to bring both of them to the back like so. And if you don't do that, you're not going to be able to flip this open to get that tab to go in the slot. So this is an important step to remember. Then spread his legs out at an A stance so we have some room. And then come to his feet. And you want to bring down the feet so on both sides. And then we're going to rotate the feet, tilt the feet on the ankle tilt to face the inside. And then we want to flip out this gray piece that opens up this way. There's 3 tabs. But to do that, you need to have a gap here. So we need to open up this wing. And this is where you need to be very careful with this area. So first, there's 2 tabs that go in. So you pull this down to untab it very carefully. You really want to be careful with this area. And then you want to pull out to have that space here very carefully. And then with this space, now we can flip this piece open. And this one has the 3 tabs here I was telling you. You need to apply force to get it untabbed, but under control, because you don't want to untab it and then flip it open and accidentally hit this area. You really need to be careful with this area right here. So after we got that open, then come to the other side, do the same thing. I'm going to go back and forth. So here you want to bend down this wing carefully to untab it. And here I'll just show you. So there's the 2 tabs going into the slot in there. After that, then you want to come to the center and carefully pull this out. Now you have the space here for this piece to be able to flip open. There's those 3 tabs, and you want to open this up. Ooh, like I said, very carefully, under control. Yeah, so you want to be careful how you're opening up that piece. And then after that, now there's the tabs on the knee joint here. There's one that on both sides. So we want to get those untabbed. There's one. And then the other side, you could see that brown tab goes in. And then there's another one. This is also very important. You need to bring this, untab this on that hinge. And this area is important because it helps give you the clearance for 2 things. so I'll point those out later. So come to the other side, do the same thing. We're basically creating a exploded view of all these. So untab the 2 tabs on the knee joint, and then this piece underneath the knee joint, you want to untab that, bring it down, and then come to the other side. And here we're going to lift up the top of the jet, the space shuttle, and it's basically a double hinge here, but here you could see it, there's also a tab that goes in that slot. So here you want to carefully lift this up, because there's, like I said, it's a triple hinge, 1, 2, 3, but it's also this tab that you're pulling out of that slot. So you need to bring that up. After that, then we need to flip out, well, I already did it on its own when I brought that out, this wing, and then we need to have the clearance to rotate this up. So rotate these thruster piece, so we have the clearance to rotate this up, and then we can bring this back out. So now we'll do the same thing on this side. So forgot to mention, you want to bring out the tip here, but it already came out when you're lifting up this piece, this triple hinge. Now we want to bring it up carefully. So you're lifting up this, but as you doing that, you could see this triple hinge is also extending up all the way. And then after that, now we need to rotate this, so we have the clearance to rotate this wing up all the way to the top, and then rotate this back in. And then come to the front, and now let's see, spread his legs out a little bit more at an A stance, and then now we're going to bring out more panel pieces. So here I'm tilting it down so you could see what I'm doing. And then here, this gray piece, you could see it rotates down, and then this piece also rotates out. And all of this, here's the clearance I was telling you. This piece gives you the clearance to now bring out this front part of the wing here. Bring it out, and then there's a tip here you want to also bring out. And don't bring it out all the way, just bring it out a little bit at an angle. And then you could see there's a hinge here. Now we want to flip this out open like so. And then we can bring it back. And the most important thing to note is the wing here. This wing needs to be on top, and this one needs to be on the bottom. That's because this has the mushroom tab that's supposed to go underneath. So make sure you have it orientated this way, like so. And then I guess we'll come to the other side, do the same thing. So you could see the wings up. And then we need to rotate this open on this double hinge, and then this piece comes down. And all of this is to have the clearance to bring out this gray piece. So bring that out, and then there's the tip that you also want to bring out, and then you can also rotate this out like so. And then you can close this back up, and then you could see the wing here is on the top, this one's on the bottom. And then now we need to flip out this piece, and these 2 tabs here are in the way, so that's where you need to bend this wing down. And I'm just letting you know, you have all the clearance. So this one, you could see this is straight, and it also bends down, so that you could bend this down to get these 2 tabs out of the way to bring this out. So here you want to untab it, and now you could see we have the clearance to rotate this to the front by bending this wing down. After that, this piece has a panel piece you want to flip open like so, and then bring this to the front. And then come to the other side and do the same thing. So here I'm just pointing out this piece bends down, and then this piece, the wing, you want to also bend down to get these 2 tabs out of the way of this piece that you need to untab and flip open. Once you do, then there's that panel piece here that you want to flip up and then bring it to the front like so. And then there's more panel pieces. So this here, you want to flip this up, and then this side only has the one panel, so you could rotate this up all the way. And then there's this piece that you want to flip out to form the top. So the other side's not quite the same. So here you rotate this up so you could bring this panel piece out, but this side has two. There's the bottom piece that you want to bring out, and you can only bring it out when you have it here bent 90 degrees. And that's because there's a little tab here that's in the way. I'll show you. So then you bring it out forward, and then you could bring out this top piece like so. And the reason why you need to have this bent, so here I'm trying to show you, is all because of that light brown color tab there. It gets in the way, so you could see I can't bend it. The only way I could bend it is if it's bent 90 degrees, and now you could see it goes up and bring it forward. And what that piece is, so you know what you're doing, that's the center piece of the top. So just letting you know. So we got those panel pieces out. Now here, this side, we want to bring out these panel pieces. So flip this up, and then there's two panel pieces here you want to bring out. So bring out this small one, and then this piece I was telling you, this is very important, this tab and this hinge. It's so you have the clearance to rotate this out. See, that's what this whole function is for. So it's for two things. It's for, you know, to have the clearance for this and to have the clearance for this. So bring that out, and then come to the other side and do the same thing. So lift this panel piece up that has two more panels that you want to flip open. And then this one, again, I was telling you, this piece is very important to have the clearance to make it through to the front. And then now we can come to the back here where the thrusters are. And here you want to rotate the small thruster up and out to the back. And then here there's this gray tab piece that you want to untab it, open it up, so that now we can pull up this piece on this slider to elevate it. Once you bring it up, then you want to bring this piece back down. It's gonna tab in. So make sure this gets tabbed in all the way. And then here, this bottom thruster on this double hinge, you could rotate it up. So now we have the two thrusters on the back, and then we could rotate this. And then come to the other side and do the same thing. Rotate this small thruster up all the way to the back, and then there's this panel piece here that you want to open up so that now we can pull up on this slider to lift this up all the way, and then bring this down. There's that tab that's going to go into that slot, and then this big thruster here, you want to rotate this up so that now we have the two thrusters facing the back, and then rotate that to the back like so. And then now we can start closing this all up. And the legs at the A stance, now we can bring these two legs together. And then here there's that piece that I was telling you, this hinge. Now we can tab that back in after we brought out all these panel pieces. And then there's the tab here that goes into that knee joint, and then flip this over, and then do the same on this side. So that that gray piece here, you want to get that tabbed in up, and then here the knee, you want to get this piece tabbed in like so. And then now you could see we're going to bring the two legs together, and here you could see there's a tab that goes into the slot, and then there's where is it? There's the other tab that here, and that brings these two jet thrusters together. And then of course there's a tab on the top here. So here what you're trying to do, so get these a little bit out of the way so that you have room here to grab these two pieces, bring these two legs together on that ratchet, and you could see now we can bring these two together, tab it in. I'm grabbing from the top and the bottom and then giving those a good squeeze, also the knee. And then coming to the back here, this piece, these two pieces also need to be tabbed in. Trying to make sure I get a good, so you could see my fingers where I'm grabbing. So I got these two pieces in. And then we can come here to the bottom, and then those three tabs I was telling you. So here we're gonna bring these two together, tab those in here on the bottom on both sides, and then come back up here to the top. And okay, so this is where we're at with all of this, so you could see. And then now we need to bring up these two top pieces, and here there's these mushroom tabs. There's three of them, 1, 2, 3. This third one, this is gonna tab in when we close it, so we're focusing on these two. So we need to get those tabs behind, and then this is where you need to apply gentle force. So get those to tab in, and then come to the other side, do the same thing, make sure that's coming out. You want to get those two tabs in behind here, and this side's going to be a little bit harder just because there's the tab up here. And so now you can see we got these together like so, and you need to apply gentle force. So here I'm just applying gentle force to get these tabbed in, because if you just tab it in with force, then you're going to cause all these to come untabbed. And then this top piece here, the wing, the fin here, the tail, get those tabbed in, give it a good squeeze. And then here, now this top piece, you could flip open these two side pieces and then bring that to the top, and make sure all of these get correctly positioned. This center piece needs to go on top of the other side, and you need to apply gentle force to get these positioned in place. And then now this piece, we're going to bring it together. So you could see there's a tab goes into that slot, but this tab is actually behind this purple square piece. So here you know where to push in. So bring it up, and you could see the two mushroom tabs need to line up. Get that get this tabbed in, and get those two mushroom tabs. But then I'm also pointing out there's that also this mushroom tab. So there's a lot of tabs. A tab goes into the slot, tab goes into the slot, and then these two tabs go in here. So you're trying to get all of those tabs to line up and tabbed in like so. Come to the other side, do the same thing. So here I'm just pointing this all out again. There's the mushroom tab here goes in. There's this tab that goes in that's behind this square. And then these two mushroom tabs that go in here. So now we want to get all of that lined up. And here, now that you know the tabs here behind that purple square, you know where to squeeze it to get it tabbed in. And then you can squeeze here to get it tabbed in. And you know there's a tab up there. And then we can come to the top here. There's a double hinge here, and you could see there's more mushroom tabs, and then this piece needs to fall into that cutout shape. So you need to use that double hinge to get it lined up on the top, and then you need to use that double hinge to push it down with gentle force, because if you just push it down, then you're going to cause all these things to open up. You don't want to do that. And then after all of that, then we can like I was telling you, this wing, you need to make sure it's staying up on top. This is on the bottom. Oh, this one kind of got a little messed up. And then now we're gonna tab in or push in this piece that you need to be careful, and you could see there's a tab and a tab. So get those tabbed in on both sides. I'm going to do it this way so you could see. And then here I'm going to apply force on the center, making sure this gets in all the way. And then after that, we come to the bottom and there's those mushroom tabs that go in underneath. And then up here, there's a tab that goes in the front of the wing here on both sides. And then after that, then there's the landing wheel here. You want to flip it out. And after all that, now we have Blast Off transformed into his alt mode.